Chiamaka Nnadozie, who will be playing on Sunday, has recently signed for Brighton in the WSL, which is the Women's Super League and the professional league in England. She signed for Brighton after the expiration of her contract at Paris FC. It's an interesting move for me because I feel like she's good enough to play for any of the big four teams in the women's game in England. And when I say the big four, you have Arsenal, the European champions, Chelsea, who have won the league, I think, the past 4 years in a row, Manchester City, who are also perennially around the top and playing the Champions League, and also Manchester United, who have done a good job in the past few years of bringing their women's team to prominence. So Brighton are not one of the best teams in the WSL, but also they're an ambitious team and a very well-run club. So I believe at the very least, looking at positive, she'll get the opportunity to establish herself in the WSL and get into the wider consciousness, which seems crazy considering that her Paris FC team knocked Arsenal out of not this year's Champions League, but the Champions League before, after her heroics in penalties. So it's quite annoying that she wasn't maybe sought after by bigger clubs, but I guess that's the price we pay for our reputation and not, tooting the horn of our players as well as some of these other national teams. So that's exactly what Nigeria Football Weekly is trying to do in terms of bridging that gap. So let's see how she gets on in that one. I'll be watching games when I can. I think it's always exciting when you have players playing one of the more popular leagues in the world, and it can only do her reputation and her confidence a world of good. So we wish her all the best in that game. Paul Onuachu has also moved back to Trabzonspor from Southampton on a permanent deal. He just arrived in Turkey recently to complete the deal. Remember, Paul Onuachu was on loan at Trabzonspor, not this past season, but in the 2023/2024 season. In 21 appearances, he scored 15 goals and 4 assists. He even became Trabzonspor's 7th top goal scorer in the league, ever with these 15 goals. So Turkish Cup, he also got 2 goals in 4 games, and overall he scored 17 goals in 25 matches, adding 4 assists. I also remember he scored 1 goal that was almost like a Pushkash award contender. So basically he did very well at Trabzonspor in his first spell. So go where I loved. Don't come and be slaving in Southampton where they're finishing 20th, all in the name of Premier League football. I like this move a lot for Onuachu. He's not getting any younger. He needs to go where he's loved. He needs to play games. He needs to continue to do what he does best, which is score goals. You could argue he's a big fish in a small pond. Sometimes it's better that way for a player. He's done his best work when he played for Genk, or was it Ghent in Belgium, and he destroyed the league, and now he could go back and do it in Turkey. Safe to say that the Premier League's maybe a bit of a step too high for him, but you gotta do what you gotta do. There's a lot of football to be played, a lot of countries where you could play football to a good level. So we wish Paul Onuachu all the best. And finally, it looks like Fisayo Dele-Bashiru will be staying at Lazio. He was on loan from Hatayspor last season, and it looks like Lazio will be signing him permanently. So congrats to him, but we want to wait for an official statement. He wasn't able to play consistently last season. He got injured at some point, which did not help. But of course, Lazio now have Maurizio Sarri back at the helm as their manager. So let's see if he gets a chance to prove himself, and if he could even become one of the favourites of Maurizio Sarri. I personally like Fisayo Dele-Bashiru because I think he's a player that takes his chances. Look at the work he's done in Super Eagles in 5 or 6 caps. He already has 2 goals, wearing the number 10 shirt, play well whenever he's called upon, scoring crucial goals as well. So this is a player that I have a lot of love for, and I wish him all the best in his career. So hopefully he'll end up staying in Lazio because we want our best players in the top leagues playing for better clubs, which Lazio still are. They're still one of the top 7-8 teams in Serie A. So that's it in terms of Fisayo Dele-Bashiru.